Washington Post, as we've mentioned, has been reporting today that Donald Trump used $258,000 from his charity, from the Trump Foundation, to settle legal problems involving his for-profit company. According to legal documents and interviews, Trump's charity might have violated rules against what's called self-dealing, which prohibits nonprofit leaders from using charity money to benefit themselves or their businesses. We've reached out to the Trump campaign here at NBC News for a response. So far, have not heard anything back. Let's turn to the reporter now who broke the story and is connecting all the dots here, David Farenthold of the Washington Post. David, we've been able at NBC to verify the actual donations that you cite, but you've kind of taken it all a step further and looked at how these donations came about. Give us some examples of what you found.
Well, the two biggest ones we looked at were, first of all, a case from Trump's club Mar-a-Lago down in Florida. A few years ago, they put up a giant flagpole that was too big for the town's ordinances. The town started fining them. Eventually, Trump got to $120,000 of fines pending against his club. He settles that case with the town, and the town says, okay, we'll waive the fines, waive this $120,000 worth of fines, but in return, Trump's club has to make a $100,000 donation to a specific veterans charity. And in that case, the club actually didn't give any money to that charity. Instead, Trump used the Donald J. Trump Foundation, a separate entity, a charity, full of other people's money. He used that foundation to make the donation. Similarly, in another case, somebody sued one of Trump's golf clubs, and when that suit settled, the golf club agreed to pay $158,000 to this person's charity. Instead, the golf club didn't pay, the charity paid. And what's problematic there is Trump is using
right? The Trump Foundation paid.
Trump Foundation, that's right. What's problematic there, as you said, is that if you're the manager of a charity, as Trump is with the Trump Foundation, you can't use the money in the charity to pay for things that you or your businesses ought to pay for. And that seems like what's happened here.
We mentioned that we've reached out to the Trump campaign, David, and they've not given us an official response. But I did just have earlier in the show a surrogate for Donald Trump on with us. And I want to play the sound from him when I asked him about your article.
That author, Farenthold, he has been, I think, egregiously unfair to Donald Trump. For instance, he challenged me after I was on your program, I believe just last week, when I said that Donald Trump had personally given millions of dollars to veterans. He challenged me on Twitter, said that's not true, prove it. I proved it on Twitter. I gave him 3 documented large donations, 2 for $1 million each, 1 for $200,000, going all the way back to the 1980s, and I got no response, crickets from him. So I think he's being very unfair, and I think he's on a bit of a witch hunt.
Your response?
I didn't actually see his donations, but I know what he's talking about. So what I've been looking for are donations going between 2008 and this year, when Donald Trump stopped giving to his foundation in 2008, and this year when he gave those donations to veterans. So one of those was the $1 million donation to veterans this May. The other 2 were in the 90s and the 80s. So they don't really speak to the particular era that the Trump people are claiming that he's given millions and millions from, which is sort of in the last 10 or 15 years. I also want to mention something he talked about earlier, which was sort of the idea that because the Trump Foundation was giving its money to a charity in the 2 cases that I mentioned, that's okay. The problem is not that the money went to a charity, but whose bill the Trump Foundation was paying. It can't pay a business's bills. It can't pay Trump's personal bills. And that seems like what happened in this case.
In the past, the Trump campaign has said, when they've been talking about a specific donation made to the Florida Attorney General that's gotten a lot of attention, they've said it was a paperwork mistake, a clerical error. Again, they haven't responded to your article, but I could see them saying, well, maybe we got things mixed up in terms of paperwork. Does all of this to you, having done all this research and all this reporting, David, does it seem like just sloppy paperwork?
In these cases, I don't believe so. The Bondi donation, that may be the case because Trump made a lot of donations to other attorneys general, and they did come out of his own pocket. In the Bondi case, they came out of the Trump Foundation's pocket, apparently because the Trump Foundation had very lax internal controls over how it spent its money, and they mistook Bondi's group for a legitimate charity. The other cases that I'm mentioning today, the one that settled the golf course case and the one that settled the case in Florida, those seem like very deliberate cases. In the case of the one in Florida, Trump wrote a letter to the town of Palm Beach saying, look, here are my checks that have settled this, and attached 2 checks signed by himself from the Donald J. Trump Foundation. I don't think there's much of a chance, and certainly the Trump people have not explained it this way, that somehow these were all mistakes, that the checks should have come out of his business and instead they came out of the Trump Foundation. If that was the case also, they've had a lot of time to correct it, and they haven't.
David Farenthold, and I'm assuming your reporting will continue. David, thanks so much for being with us again.